Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sport. And in the wake of the banning to RASSIE ERASMUS and the fine against World Rugby of £20,000, it has been confirmed that both RASSIE ERASMUS and SA Rugby will be exercising their right to appeal World Rugby's decision that found both parties guilty of misconduct, as well as quite a lengthy ban being handed down to RASSIE ERASMUS. Now, before we sort of break it apart a little bit and have a look at exactly what this means, please do smash like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. Right, so we're all pretty well versed in what has happened. Last night, World Rugby released an 80-page verdict where they said that they have found RASSIE ERASMUS guilty of misconduct on 6 different charges, as well as SA Rugby on 2 different charges. World Rugby handed SA Rugby a £20,000 fine, as well as a warning over further incident, and RASSIE ERASMUS has been banned from all rugby-related activities for 2 months, and from any match day activities for 10 months until September 2022. Now, obviously, the first thing we've done is they've appealed the decision, which is probably the right thing to do. You know, you've got to, they've maintained innocence for so long, they're going to continue to do so. And what would be quite interesting is, if you go back a couple of months, we had MVM Holdings saying that we've got New York lawyers, we've got American lawyers that will come and that we will fight for RASSIE ERASMUS. So I wonder, it'd be interesting to see if they do get involved and what the story will be. But at the moment, RASSIE is banned until September 2022, and that's from all rugby union match days. So you can't go to any be involved in any match day activities. So you can't even sort of Skype yourself in or Zoom or whatever. You can't be in the stadium. You can't be waterboarding. And it also extends down to club or anything like that. So you can't go to a club match, for example. You can't go to and be involved in a franchise game, like a Lions or a URC game or something like that. That's currently what the ban covers. Now, in terms of rugby-related activities, it includes coaching, it means contact with match officials, it means media engagement, it means you can't basically fill as well for director rugby. So basically, he's been sent on a 2-month holiday. We'll see you again in February. But the appeal now will hopefully try and reduce that. So at this stage, there hasn't been on exactly what the appeal process will be, but both SA Rugby and RASSIE ERASMUS will be appealing the process. Now, I think the biggest thing at the moment is in terms of the appeal, was to try and get that match day related activity ban down. Because knowing World Rugby and the length that it's taken to get this far, the chance of getting the appeal process done soon enough to make this 2-month ban from all rugby related incidents removed is probably quite ambitious. From what I understand also, despite the appeal, he will not be involved in this weekend's matchday activities, which means he will not be on the touchline against England. He will not be on the phone or anything like that. He will not be able to contact Jacques Inabar and his coaching side against England, which I don't think will be too much of an issue, because I think if the Springboks ever were to try and make a statement, had motivation to make a statement, this weekend would be it, given the fact that not only was RASSIE ERASMUS brought into it, but obviously Coliseum was on the stick. For the press conference they had, it was a brilliant press conference. It was very enjoyable. Good times. So that's the current situation. The moment they have appeal, the moment there is the punishment, the verdict has been handed down. RASSIE ERASMUS is currently banned. In fact, I think his ban starts today. So as of today, RASSIE ERASMUS is currently sitting in England on basically paid leave. It could be even unpaid. But at the moment, he's not involved in any rugby-related activities. So one imagines he's probably returning home right now and preparing for the appeal. Now, last night when I did the video on him banning, we didn't really have time to sort of go on whether the decision was right. Now, what I've always said for quite a while is that there was always going to have to be some sort of punishment. It was inevitable, because you can't and you don't want to advocate coaches being able to make videos like this, be able to criticize referees so openly. Now, whether or not he had justified cause to do it is a whole different debate. But at the end of the day, you don't want to be in a situation where coaches have this platform. So there was always going to have to be a punishment of some sort. And I think this punishment itself can seem harsh. I think the frustration for me is if you look at the charges, I think the charges are pretty stupidly written up. I think a couple of them you can go with and a couple of them you just can't. The whole bringing the game into disrepute. you could probably justify, attacking the match first question authority, yada yada. But there's just a couple of charges that I just didn't really like the way that was worded. My biggest frustration continues to be the fact that an incident which happened in July has only been dealt with now in November. Now, had it been called in July, a decision was made by August, September, October, November, December, we'd be 4 months into a 10-month ban, assuming that the punishment took. He would already be back to rugby-related activities, and we could sort of be halfway there. It would go into 6 more months, so he'd be back basically in June, and he probably wouldn't be fine, and it wouldn't make much of a difference. So it's frustrating that he missed the entire rugby championship to sort of distance himself. Well, not the entire rugby championship, he was there for the one Argentina game. But he missed the entire outgoing leg to try and sort of distance himself from the squad, to sort of prepare for this and stuff like that, to sort of take the heat. And now he's still going to miss a lot of SA rugby because he's still going to miss the entire outgoing tour next year and a portion of the rugby championship. And I think that's probably my biggest sort of problem lies. I think the fact that World Rugby have dragged their feet for so long, it's given very little it's little credibility to them. I think they've taken so long. The process and stuff has been so poorly done that there's always going to be a major reaction towards the punishment. And as I said, I think there was always going to have to be some sort of punishment. Yes, apparently they agree that most of the issues that he raised were justified, and that he had cause to be able to make a video and stuff like that. But, you can't really justify the manner in which it was released at the end of the day. It's one of those things. You just don't want to be able to sit there and say, right, Warren Gatton, you can make a video, everyone can make a video, and you're not going to get punished. There's always going to have to be some sort of punishment. And World Rugby are always going to be quite strong in their punishment to try and sort of prevent this from going any further. But, as I said, I think the biggest issue is just how poorly the entire proceedings have been done. The poor reasoning for why it's taken so long. The fact that we couldn't get a hearing sort of because of the time zone differences. I work remotely with people from Brazil, South America, and Europe, everywhere around the world in the company, and yet they can align calendars if you need to. So how World Rugby can't pay or can't get people in the room who are on a very big payroll is poor form. And I think that's been the biggest issue for me, is the fact it's taken so long, and now after taking so long, they've come out with such a big punishment. They've lost so much credibility in the way that they've gone about the process, which is my biggest sort of gripe, I suppose. The ban is frustrating. It should have been halfway there anyway, and in June we could have been brushing this under the carpet and say, right, let's just move on. But we can't because it's taken so long. So I think that's my biggest frustration comes with World Rugby. I also think that the charges, the way they've worded it, is pretty poor. And just the way they've acted throughout the entire process has been pretty characteristic of how poor World Rugby currently is. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. We have quite a lot to talk about this over the next couple of weeks. And a lot to dissect, depending on what happens with the appeal process and stuff like that. And we'll keep you updated on any developments that do arise regarding the case. Apart from that, thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven, and I'll chat to you soon.